Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my channel, Score Wave 2, and the workshop. How many people can define the word capitalism in 25 words or less? How many people realize what capitalism actually is, what it entails, and how it affects us in our everyday lives? Well, today we're going to take a close look at capitalism. Thank God for capitalism. Where would we be without it? Capitalism is our country's life's blood. It is essential. Here's a workable definition. Capitalism, the private production and distribution of goods and services for profit. The key words here are private and for profit. Capitalism is a self-sustaining system with absolutely no boundaries or limitations, moral or ethical. Capitalism depends upon two big factors, two things. The first is a very broad base of consumers, and the second is the constant production of new goods and new services, and I mean constant, new goods and new services to sell to the consumers. And this requires advertisement. Advertisement is everywhere. It's inescapable. We can't get away from it. It's a 24/7 thing. Take television, for example. Nowadays we have to pay a fee for a television reception, but it is replete with advertisement. Everything under the sun, every service and every product is currently advertised on the television channels. That's because television and capitalism are perfect partners. They go hand in hand. At one time, it was thought to be unethical for law firms to advertise on television, but nowadays they are all casting about for accident victims. And this is because accident cases are relatively easy to win and provide big financial benefits for the attorneys. The first thing the attorney will do is send his client to a series of participating doctors who are in on the game. These doctors have nothing to do with health of the client, but the visits are necessary to prove damage once the case goes to trial. For instance, a good friend of my wife had to sue her employer, a doctor, an MD, for sexual harassment on the job. She hooked up with a law firm who sent her to a series of cooperating doctors. There was a chiropractor, a podiatrist, and even a proctologist, for heaven's sakes. This had nothing to do with the client's health, but helped to prove damage once it went to court. This is capitalism at work. One television advertiser offers a free booklet on mesothelioma, written by medical professionals, which supposedly will answer all your questions. Send for the free booklet and receive so much more, the ad tells us. Well, at the very end, if you look very closely at the small type at the bottom of your screen, you will see the words lawyer advertisement. And indeed, this commercial is a lawyer advertisement. Is this somewhat deceptive or somewhat unethical? No, not at all, folks. This is merely capitalism at work. A lot of television time is taken up advertising prescription drugs. The advertiser advises us to ask our doctor if brand X is right for us. Now, this can be very harmful. It can undermine the doctor-patient relationship. Good heavens, can't we trust that our doctors are already aware of the latest and greatest drugs on the market? Can't we trust that he is already prescribing what he feels is best for us? Does he really need our help? Well, maybe we need another doctor. No, not at all, folks. That is just capitalism at work. New services are constantly popping up that would be unthinkable just a few years ago. For example, if you are irresponsible enough to fill up all your credit card accounts and you can no longer make the monthly payments, don't worry, folks. There is a secret the credit card companies do not want you to know. And fortunately, there's a company that will help you settle your debt for a fraction of what you rightfully owe, for a fee, of course. Yes, this is just another example of capitalism. The entrepreneur is constantly on the lookout for new ways to make a buck. And today, digital technology is a favorite target. Take the expensive smartphone, for instance, and the pressure it puts on parents to provide a smartphone for their kid or their kids in school. Any kid in school without a smartphone is going to be laughed at, ridiculed, and made to feel inferior. And who wants that for their kid when all the other kids have smartphones? And if the cost of the smartphone is not within the family budget at a particular time, don't worry, folks, it can be put on a charge account. And when the charge account becomes full and unmanageable, don't worry, folks, there is a secret that credit card companies do not want you to know. Capitalism at work. Once in a while, an old school consumer like me will hold on to some product that he really likes until it finally dies and has to be replaced. It could be any product, but in my case, it was a microwave oven my wife and I really liked. And when it finally died, we naturally wanted to replace it with the same make and model. We were dismayed to find out that that model hadn't been made in several years and, of course, was no longer available. We had to make another selection. This is because capitalism requires a constant parade of new, improved products. And very often, as in the case of cosmetics, household cleaners, and over-the-counter medications, the new improvement is really a new eye-catching wrapper, new eye-catching packaging for the same old product. I know this from reading label ingredients. Capitalism at work. Both our universities and our hospitals have become strictly for-profit business enterprises. Why should it cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to get a college degree that guarantees us of absolutely nothing except excessive debt? In view of the fact that nursing care has been severely cut back, how can hospitals possibly justify the exorbitant fees they expect to get? Nurses are understaffed and greatly overworked. In fact, if you are lucky enough to see the RN in charge of your case for 2 or 3 minutes once a day, you are very lucky. You know, you can spend up to a month bedridden in a hospital without receiving one bed bath. Apparently, profit comes way ahead of patient care. Well, this is just another example of capitalism. It's pretty obvious that a lot of our social ills can be blamed on capitalism and our mania for profit. What's the alternative? No, I'm not a communist. I am a Bernie Sanders man. I believe there could be and should be a happy medium. Unfortunately, all true red-blooded Americans believe in two things: consumerism and capitalism.